Coming up next on this edition of In the City, Principal Robin Newell is very excited about a new program at the Mitchell Neilson schools that help teach kids to be a leader. Ever heard of World Turtle Day? If you haven't, we traveled out to the Wilderness Station to find out how this day connects to this area. All aboard the CHOW Bus, Murfreesboro City Schools' newest tool to combat hungry kids in Murfreesboro, and the Murfreesboro City Schools Extended School Program takes a trip to Oakland's mansion. In the City starts right now. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm your host, Casey Kriesky. Mitchell Neilson Schools will start the 2014-2015 school year implementing a new program called Leader in Me. It teaches kids 7 principles of leadership. Principal Robin Newell explains.
No, we're talking about the old
Chad Smith is from Franklin Covey, and that is who we are working with to implement the Leader in Me program at Mitchell Neilson. And so Chad is the regional person that comes to schools and does an overview. And so that was a 2-hour session that we did for our staff and parents, and we invited community members to just come hear from him what the Leader in Me will look like and sound like in our school next year. And he just wanted to make sure that the teachers knew what to look forward to and kind of the why behind why we want to do a leadership focus at Mitchell Neilson.
We're going to talk this afternoon about what are the messages that we're sending to kids. What are the messages that we're sending to kids, both intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, and really delve into that.
The Leader in Me program came from a school, elementary school in Raleigh, North Carolina, who was getting ready to close. It was a magnet school whose focus was their after-school programs, and they were losing students because that wasn't a draw anymore. And the superintendent literally went to the principal and said, "We're getting ready to close you down. You have a week to come up with a reason why to keep you open." And so that principal had been to a Stephen Covey session on the 7 habits of highly effective people, and she got to thinking, could we teach that to children? And she went up to Stephen Covey after the session and asked him, and he said, "Let me know how that works for you," and walked away, and I guess thinking that she wouldn't do it. But she started it. It was hugely successful. There are over 2,000 schools that copy that program now, and Mitchell Neilson will be the first one in Middle Tennessee to start that.
I think you're going to find this is a model that not only celebrates and honors kids, it also celebrates and honors the adults who serve those kids as well as the parents who are raising those children.
So I took 6 teachers from both campuses to a school in Clarksville, and they were so excited when we came back. I think if I had said no, they would have done it without me. And the teachers were very excited to see that kind of passion and excitement in children, and they want that for their students here at Mitchell Neilson. When we first started looking at Leader in Me, some of our teachers started playing around with it in the classroom and teaching some of the habits to their children, and we're already seeing and hearing the children talk about that. We're a choice school next year, which means that students that aren't zoned for us can apply to come to Mitchell Neilson and be a part of this leadership program.
Thank you.
As the last count, we had 135 applications, and we cut our spots off at 110. So we've got that waiting list already, and that's huge. And I think it speaks very highly to what we've already done. And then we've got so many new applications for people that haven't been here that they see the potential. And I had one mother tell me that she had seen one of the board meetings had been televised and where I was talking about it. And she came in the next day and said, I want this for my children. Where do I sign up?
If you're interested in getting your elementary child enrolled in one of the Mitchell Neilson schools, give the Murfreesboro City Schools Administration Office a call at 893-2313. World Turtle Day is celebrated worldwide to bring attention to turtles and encourage human action to help them survive and thrive in the wild. The Wilderness Station at Barfield Crescent Park put on a great program to celebrate this environmental day.
Today is World Turtle Day. Actually, May 23rd is always World Turtle Day. And we are just celebrating turtles and their conservation efforts by having a special event here for all ages. Right now we've got turtle stories going on. We're going to have turtle talks, and the public can learn about our box turtle and our sliders. And we've got a table set up with different turtle shells for the public to learn about the differences in the shell, what they look like. We've got the reptile guy here. And we also have a couple crafts that the kids can do and a couple of interpretive educational games. Especially box turtles, numbers are decreasing. They are a species of concern listed in Tennessee, whereas they used to be very numerous here. So their numbers are actually decreasing, and that's what World Turtle Day exists for, is so that, and same for the sea turtles as well. Their numbers are decreasing, and that's what this is about, is a conservation effort so that people can learn more about them and how they can help to keep their numbers normal. Turtles have always been super lovable creatures. Unfortunately, a lot of people, because of that, have taken them in as pets, and that is completely illegal, and that's actually one of the #1 reasons why box turtles numbers have gone down. So that's what we're teaching today, is for people to leave them where they find them and to not move them. A lot of times people realize that they're not domestic pets, and they're sort of smelly and stinky. So then they try to take them somewhere safe. So especially for box turtles, they live in one area their entire life. Wherever they're born is where they want to stay. So if they get moved, they have this internal homing device that says, I want to go back to where I'm from. And along the way, most likely, especially in Murfreesboro, they're going to cross streets, and cars are their #1 predators right now. But really, if you see one and you happen to be driving, the best thing to do is just help it cross the road in the direction that it's going. And you've basically saved its life and allowed it to stay in the population and have babies and create more. Especially Murfreesboro is a really good example of a place that always is creating new roads and new highways, expanding the byways. And if they come out of hibernation after 4 months, they bury themselves in November and they come out in March, there could be a new road where they buried. So they are just trying to get past it and stick around that area where they were born. The Wilderness Station is at Barfield Crescent Park. It's an outdoor education and adventure facility, so we do all sorts of environmental education programs and outdoor recreation. It's a part of Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation, and we are open to the public 7 days a week. We have the education animals as well. We have red-eared sliders and turtles and an owl and a possum and a salamander, and snakes. The Rec Connection, you can find that online on the website, so murfreesboro.tn.gov/parks is the best way. All of our programs, and the summer Rec Connect should be out very soon, so you can check out all the stuff we have coming up in the summer.
Murfreesboro City Schools served more than 20,000 meals during last summer's meal program, and this year they hope to expand that number. A new bus called CHOW, Combating Hunger on Wheels, hopefully will help them do just that.
This is our brand new CHOW Bus, Combating Hunger on Wheels. Well, today we're here because of the CHOW Bus has been finished, and we're going to roll it out next Tuesday, starting our summer feeding program. So we are going to do our ribbon cutting today and introduce it to the community. We'll be taking it out this summer to 5 locations throughout the city. And then we have 11 other locations. The locations and the times are on the City Schools website, www.cityschools.net. Anybody at the age of 18 or younger can participate in the program. It does not matter if they're a member of the city school system or they're just a member of our community. Anybody 18 and younger. You can come in for breakfast, you can come in for lunch, you can come in for both, you can come in 3 days a week, 5 days a week. We'll be there Monday through Friday. As far as breakfast, we'll be offering fresh fruits, we'll be offering fresh juices, yogurt, pancakes, but that's without syrup. There'll be whole grain. Lunch will be whole grain sandwiches or whole grain pizza. We have to meet all the regulations like the USDA with the sodium, the whole grain, the calories. We have to meet all those regulations. We're very lucky in Murfreesboro City. The kids have always loved the fruits and vegetables, so we are not seeing a problem with that. Whole grain, it's taken them a little bit to get used to, but now we're already out there. We're ahead of the curve. We were supposed to make sure half of our products were whole grain. We've already got 98% of them out there that are whole grain. The meals will be prepackaged. They'll be prepared and packaged at Black Fox. That is our centralized kitchen for the summer. We are feeding 16 sites, 5 that will be fed from the bus, and then 11 other sites, but it will be prepackaged from Black Fox and sent out in coolers and hot boxes and presented to the children. As far as providing the meals for the students, the need is getting greater, and also the whole obesity epidemic that we're having across the country. The government is introducing us to more regulations, so that's why I wanted the farm scene on the bus, so that we got the fresh fruits and vegetables out there. So we're going back to fresh vegetables and more back to scratch cooking.
The Summer Food Service Program runs May 27th through August 1st. A healthy breakfast and lunch will be served Monday through Friday. The program serves any child 18 years old and under. No registration required. Simply show up at one of the 16 locations during the designated meal times. Find the locations and times at the Murfreesboro City Schools website at www.cityschools.net. Our newest segment on In the City deals with Murfreesboro's extended school program and the many things they do. Recently, all the schools came together to visit Oakland's mansion and learn about the life in the 1800s. With the open space at the mansion and all of the hands-on stations that were set up, this trip was a big hit with the kids.
Today we have a really fun field trip for our ESP kids. They've been coming out here today and yesterday to experience a little bit of history and have a little hands-on experiences with the activities that they're doing.
Well, I've made biscuits. I've went into the tour. I've done the sewing thing over there, and I think I'm about to go see the chickens.
We learned about the washing the clothes that we just did, and Harriet Tubman. We did the dress up, then we got to wear like the skirts and the bonnets and stuff, and we played a couple of games that they did.
I think some of the personal favorites are washing clothes. They like to do the laundry, and they've had a good time making the biscuit, kneading the biscuit dough and trying on the clothes. And one of the things I also felt like was important is just being out in green space and enjoying being outside before it gets too hot in the summer. When Mary Beth Nevels, the education director here, came to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to do a thing for ESP," it was a great idea, you know, and one of the things that we were talking about with this was having all the kids be able to come to one thing and have that same experience. And that was a really good way to kind of get everybody together and kind of blast off the summer. And so it's been a very positive experience for everyone, I think.
I enjoyed it because I got to learn about what kids did back then and compared it to what life is now for me. They didn't really have electricity, so it was probably colder in the winters and hot in the summers.
Because I don't think they had bathtubs and showers and could wash their hair.
I'm a history buff, kind of, so I enjoy the cultural aspects of history and stuff like that. So it really appealed to me for the kids to be able to do, so experience things that you would never, ever put clothes on a washboard and wash them, you know, and it's a lot of things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
I like ESP because we get to go on field trips like this one. My favorite thing about ESP is getting to know new friends.
This summer, the ESP kids will have fun with 2 to 3 field trips per week. Fun camps ranging from sports and games to science and space, and also the exciting theme weeks. Be on the lookout for ESP School of the Month in the next edition of In the City. And who knows when we'll be stopping by your classroom. The new Joby Jackson Bridge project is moving right along. With the good weather, the construction has been ahead of schedule. The plan is that the project will be finished sooner than predicted. Murfreesboro's city engineer gives us an update.
This is the Joby Jackson project. As you can see behind me, the bridge is completed. We made the last pour on the deck last week. Actually made a couple of pours last week on the deck, doing the approach slabs now. When it's completed, it'll be the largest bridge, certainly the largest bridge in Murfreesboro, and I think it's probably the largest bridge in Rutherford County also. About 1,300 feet long. We're about a year and a half into the project overall. We're scheduled to be completed by May of 2015, but we're well ahead of that schedule. Should actually be completed by the end of the year. This bridge actually extends over both the CSX Railroad and the Stones River, so this will give us a much needed connection to connect Church Street to I-24, help try to alleviate some of the traffic congestion that we're having now at Church Street and I-24 and kind of redirect some of that traffic back over to Joe B. Jackson, really connecting a lot of our rooftops over to a lot of our industrial area that's currently being developed in the Joe B. Jackson, and then also obviously over to the interstate and help folks get out of town a little bit quicker. It's been a big utility relocation project. CUDs had to relocate, Murfreesboro Water and Sewers relocated, AT&T, MED, all of those are relocating. We're just in the process of finishing up the bulk of the utility relocations. And once we get those relocated, we've kind of been having to pick and choose our spots where we're working on the storm drain. So once those are completed, you'll see things pick up quite a bit, and this will start coming together and start looking like more like a roadway. The residents have been great to work with. I mean, you think about just coming in and basically just, in a lot of cases, just really trenching through a lot of these folks' front yards. I mean, it's been difficult. It's been a tough project. You know, going back with underground utilities through the subdivision here, where they're underground before, you know, that takes time. But the residents have been great to work with. Had a couple of issues like we always do on projects, but we've worked through them. They've been really good, really patient with us, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate their patience. And now where we're in, you know, we're nearing the end. You know, we're getting to a point to where they're going to be able to have their lives back a little bit. You know, the dust obviously has been a concern of theirs, especially going through the summer months, which has been a lot of our construction that has been going in, and even now. But the road's really taken shape. We'll be able to pour the curb and gutter, and basically they'll be able to see the roadway. And once you get the curb and gutter down and get the sidewalk down, I mean, things really take off from there. We're able to get everything paved, and the residents had to put up with really has been a lot of inconvenience. So we, again, I can't say how much I appreciate their patience.
CityTV was able to sit down with Mayor Bragg for his last interview as mayor of Murfreesboro. Here's some highlights of topics that were covered.
Mayor Bragg, congratulations on 12 great years serving Murfreesboro.
Well, thank you, John. I think as I look back, there have been a number of people that have made this last 12 years successful for Murfreesboro, and I'm happy to have shared my part in it, but I really think it goes to our taxpayers, our citizens, our business owners, and our city staff, and those folks that work with our community day in, day out providing services. So I'm going to give them the thanks for making me look good.
You're just finishing up 3 terms as mayor, 4-year terms. Any particular reason you decided to hang it up or go home, if you will?
Well, I guess it just became time. I'm 67 years old. I felt that we had 2 excellent folks on council who wanted to be mayor and were interested in running, and I thought, well, let's just see what happens and maybe let them go ahead and run and take over. It's been a tremendous learning experience being mayor, of learning, I guess, about water and sewer, about electric, about solid waste, about stormwater, reuse water, and that's just the water things that you have to worry about. Road construction, parks, and dealing with taxpayers on the front line. That's what our city employees do so well. And so it was a great learning experience, and I felt like maybe it was just time to let somebody else take over, maybe spend a little more time on the golf course and with my family, and really turn it over maybe to a newer generation.
Is there any particular achievement or accomplishment that you would point to as outstanding during the 12 years, more than others?
Well, I mentioned that our councils have worked very well together. You know, we make group decisions. The mayor is not the king. We've got 7 folks that have to agree or we don't get anything done. So that's been very important to me. 2 things that come to mind real quick was our cooperation with MTSU on their athletic facilities, which increased our availability for regional sporting events, Spring Fling and other, and I hope Conference USA events to come. The other thing was, and I don't think people ever think about this, we had so many railroad crossings, what we call at grade, and the city has built above grade crossings to get people over the railroad tracks without having that safety issue. So from a public safety point of view, I think that's a good accomplishment. And I guess the last thing would be our most recent purchase of the medical clinic to become a new police headquarters. That's something that's going to be 20, 30, 40 years down the road, a great buy for the taxpayers in Murfreesboro. It gets that project underway without having to go find another site and go through zoning and all those things. But it gets our police department back into a centralized location with the square footage they need, the resources they need, and probably save the taxpayers maybe up to $10+ million over what it would cost to start from ground zero on a new facility.
Any disappointments during your administration? Anything you'd do differently if you had a chance to do it over again?
You know, we've just been so fortunate. I certainly wouldn't want our residents and business owners to have to go back through the Great Recession again. It really wasn't anything that we caused locally. It was a national and international impact. That freezing of the city's budget, the freezing of the hiring, you hate to go through those hiccups, but I certainly believe our city administration did a good job there. I wish we had not had the difficulty over the extension of the runway at our Murfreesboro airport. It wasn't going to change the type of aircraft, wasn't going to change anything about it, just make it a little safer and give our pilots a little more of a safety zone. So a couple of those things came up during the time, but generally speaking, I think we've been very fortunate, and if there's been any disappointments, it's possibly because of the lingering effects of just waiting for projects to come to fruition. It seems to take so long now to get everybody on board while we build a road or where we go for a park or where we get something done. And that's a little frustrating sometimes, but after 12 years as mayor, I think I understand now you just have to wait for good things to happen.
Roads and transportation certainly a major part of our community and a major challenge, I guess, to the city government.
Well, it was funny back when I was originally elected in 2002, the orange barrels were there and they haven't really come down. They've been moving around, I guess, is the way you look at it. So our city engineering department, our city transportation department, really unparalleled growth in those areas. If you think about nearly $200 million and more spent on roads in Rutherford County and around Murfreesboro in the last 12 years, really quite an effort, and everyone is to be commended for their patience and tolerance while we get those lane miles ready for their use of the motorists.
If you would like to see the interview in its entirety, visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube page. The 2014 Peace Officers Memorial took place in May on the Civic Plaza at Murfreesboro City Hall. This is a memorial honoring all law enforcement personnel from this area that have given the ultimate sacrifice. Here are some of the highlights from the event.
We want to thank you for joining us as we remember and honor our local American heroes, our law enforcement heroes. And while honoring those fallen members, we also pay tribute to those brave men and women who daily are policing and protecting our cities, our counties, our state, and our nation. They are the ones that are responsible for our homeland security and for making sure that we're able to enjoy the quality of life that we have in America.
And on behalf of your city staff and your city council, to say thank you for what you do for our community, but most importantly, I think it's also appropriate to thank the families for sharing your loved ones with us to help protect our community. And I think it would be appropriate to give the family members a round of applause, because we don't know what it's like when our family members leave at night to protect a community. So thank you for what you do.
Just want to say that I'm honored to be here and privileged to be here, just to say thank you to our family members, and thank you to all of you that are continuing to serve all of the citizens in our county in this very, very important role. It's just really nice to know that we have people that are dedicated to giving themselves to the service of others, and they're putting themselves in harm's way every single day that they serve.
Not only this is an important memorial service to honor the families, but all of us here should remember and thank the peace officers every day for the work they do. Not just one day a year, not just 1 week a year, but we should do it every day, because they're putting their lives on the line for us every day. So it's an honor to be here.
I'd like for you to stop and take just a few minutes and focus on these men and women. What is the ultimate sacrifice? These men and women gave their life for the peace and safety of you and me and our children, our families, and this community. What would have been different if they had not lost their life and lived through a full career and been able to retire? What difference would their contributions to law enforcement have brought? The lives that they would have touched, not only in law enforcement, but the citizens who live in this county.
Here are some more city events happening around Murfreesboro. Mark your calendars. On Monday, June 16th, the ribbon cutting and grand opening for Bloomfield Links will be at 11 a.m. Also, trick shot artist Dennis Walters and his dog Bucky will be there to perform. For more information, call 896-2448. On June 6th from 6:30 to 9:30, the summer series Friday Night Live starts with the band The Pilots. It's a free concert downtown on the historic public square. The concerts fall on the first Monday of each month through September. Also in June, the Main Street Saturday Farmers Market starts. Vendors will be near the Rutherford County Courthouse every Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon, offering fresh fruits, vegetables, breads, meats, and flowers through October. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. For more information about the city of Murfreesboro, head over to the city's website at murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to watch a specific story you've seen today or catch some of the latest city news, visit the City of Murfreesboro YouTube channel. Until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.